Hey, all you beautiful people, I am here. I am Goose. This is On With The Show. And today's show, we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite trans TikToker. Yes, we're going to be talking about Lillytino and some of the new controversies that she's now continuing to involve herself in. But before we get started, if you haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe button. Bang the bell for notifications. Bang, bang, bang the bell for notifications so you always know when new videos are uploaded. And give me a big like on the video so it always helps with the channel and the algorithm. And yeah, let's just get started. Let's just get started here on what's been making the rounds in social media. Is she is having a bread tower at Disney.
That is fancy looking. Cool.
The bottom is from Thailand.
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes,
Ma'am.
sorry, my bad. And the middle one is from India. It's the papadom with the gingerbread chutney.
Okay.
And the third is from Brazil. It's a cheese bread with the guava sauce.
Thank you. Just like totally sucks the joy out of this bread tower. Makes me want to immediately like leave because I no longer feel like safe here. It's like, oh, my guard now has to be up. I'm not going to enjoy this bread as much because my guard is up. We should be able to go places and not have to worry. I don't think I really want this bread tower, actually. I think I'd rather have the check if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the training. We're supposed to say friend or just not use gendered language. It's like a pretty big thing that Disney has done. Nothing was wrong with bread. I just don't want it anymore. Just because they apologize doesn't mean she doesn't feel sad or offended. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if you've accidentally ever hurt someone and say, I'm so sorry, it was an accident, do you expect them to be like, oh, it was an accident? Of course, no problem whatsoever. All of that hurt is now undone. That's not how it works.
Sorry about what happened.
It's okay. I would love to pay for the drink, please.
No, the drink is on me too, so
You don't. Are you sure?
you're good. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Sorry
very
about
much.
that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So yeah, so she goes into a restaurant at Disney, orders this beautiful bread tower, and then the waiter accidentally calls her sir, and she gets offended. This seems to be a typical thing with her. You know, going to places, getting misgendered. Oh, I'm so offended. Oh, not. She's like, it just totally sucks the joy out of this. I can't even eat it now. Let me just like. What's to say that she didn't like bring that? You know, after she filmed herself, because it's just her and her camera, that she like, bring back the bread tower. I'm gonna eat it. You know, because we don't see her leaving with it. We just see her getting upset and. I can't eat this now. I mean, it's ridiculous. And you paid for it. So, this seems to be a new thing with her, especially because this is not the first time that she has been misgendered at Disney. And it just gets incredibly absurd. So, I went and looked at the comments, and these are these are comments that are like on the top of this video. It says here, he said, "My bad, sir. Ha 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 ha. You got what you wanted. Free drink and attention. Congrats. How do you feel? How do you not feel safe? I saw nothing threatening. You don't feel safe? What the hell, bro?" He apologized over and over. I'm a huge LGBTQ plus supporter, as I'm gay myself, but I myself feel like you're doing this on purpose to gain attention from the wrong side and making it look extremely bad for the rest of us queer people, especially when a lot of the time they've apologized to you and you're making it somehow worse. Here's the last comment I got. Safe? Because you were called something other than what you prefer? I'm born female. I couldn't care less what you call me. Man, dude, bro, anything. You need to look in the mirror and do some work on yourself if you care that so much to not eat and keep leaving these places and causing scenes. Rage baiting at its finest, and it's sad because you're hurting your own community. I have trans friends, and this is just sad what you're doing. Yeah, this is a thing with Lillytino. This is what she likes to do. I'm going to go into that in a little bit, but it gets even worse. I'm gonna just like pause for a little bit because if you've got young kids, this next video is like graphic. If you've got young people in the room with you that are like watching this, I mean, I'll pause the video for a minute and get them out of the room. But yeah, this next video is just obscene. And again, she's doing this at Walt Disney World because if you look in the background of this place, you see the Boardwalk Resort behind her. All right, you see the Boardwalk Resort behind her. So I'm gonna count down. 3, 2, 1.
I think Disney's going to ban me for this one. My corn dog is still intact. I'm not happy about that, but sadly it takes a long time to turn a corn dog into a inverted corn dog. I do hair removal every week for 2 hours straight. It is not fun or easy, but once that is finally done, hopefully by the end of the year, they are going to take my corn dog. These ears do not want to stay on. They are going to cut it down the middle. This is not the best knife for this. They will then take off the outer lining of the corn dog. Okay, I'm actually impressed that I'm doing this good of a job. Like so. Flip it inside out and make something of a tunnel. This tunnel will then become, well, you know, my hands are disgusting. Now you might be asking why I would do this or why anyone would do this. It sounds not fun. And I agree with you. I'm not looking forward to that recovery process. But know that this is not a decision that any of us take lightly. Our corn dogs do serve a purpose, but at the end of the day, I just don't like having it. It's not me. I look at it in the mirror and it's like, ugh, can we do something about that? And it turns out we can. But until then, I am making the most of my final days with my corn dog. Farewell to this thing that has served me not very well, but is what I was born with. It did its duty. R.I.P. I'm good.
Okay. How do I even respond to this? First of all, you notice she put the ketchup on. She put the ketchup on the corn dog. Talks about how she still has her corn dog, and then proceeds to show how she's going to have her corn dog turned into a bun by cutting down the middle of the ketchup, like some graphic scene in some horror movie, and then like takes off and turns it in like. Again, this is at Walt Disney World. Now, she's been accused before of doing that. If you've gone to, I don't know if you want to go to her page and just and check out all of her stuff, but she's been accused of doing this kind of content before at Walt Disney World or Disneyland when there are people around her. Now here we don't know if there's anybody around her because she's at a table pointing out to the water. We don't know if there's anybody around her. She might have like done it to where there isn't any kids, so that she can't be, But the fact that she starts off with, "I might get banned for this." Yeah, do you think you might get banned for this? You should be banned for this. This is not the kind of thing that people have going on at the amusement parks. This is not the kind of thing that people want going on at Disney. The fact that you continue to do this kind of content, and I call it shock content, I think is just what you're trying to do because maybe you're not getting the views you used to. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you've decided that being misgendered constantly is kind of getting old and you need to like change it up a little bit. So let's talk about my corn dog and how it hasn't served you well. And then you take a big bite out of a corn dog because this is stupid and ridiculous. And it's gross and it's graphic, and why you're doing it here is beyond my comprehension. But let's continue because I found other content, not from Disney, but from somewhere else, and I'll get into that in a minute. But let's go take a look at let's take a look at some of the comments here. The fact that you choose to only do this at an amusement park around kids tells me what I need to know. Excuse me. No way he's doing this again. Get off this app. I feel Disney might ban me for this. So don't do it. Being a PDF file at Disney is crazy work. I can see that. Doing this while at Disney is diabolical. Sir, please stop. No, this is weird. You should not be on TikTok. The way he is talking sounds like he's explaining this to kids. For someone who hates their corn dog, you seem to love to talk about it. Why are you so disrespectful? Disneyland is for kids. Are you talking about your private stuff? Can someone ban this dude? No, sir. No, sir, no one asked. And of course, the last one is, no way you're doing this again. You harm our community. Now get this. You harm our community so much by being so inappropriate as to talk about your privates and SRS at Disney around children. I do not and will never accept you into our community. So, yeah. There's part of the crux of this, Lillytino. You're harming your community more than you're helping your community. You are becoming that kind of person that is becoming more and more of, you're not a great example of the trans community when you keep doing crap like this. I'm trying to keep this as PG-13 as possible. And again, this is not the first time she's done this. It isn't. This is not the first time she has done this. She's done this other times, at Disney especially. Like this is some sexual enjoyment of her explaining how, sex change operations are done around kids. Let's get into this, because I told you this is not the first. This is not the only place she's done this. I'm going to get into this. This is honestly at the Hard Rock Cafe in San Francisco. Take a look at this.
Hi. I know you wanted to sit at this table, but we have reservations, so
Oh.
we're going to have to move you to a smaller table.
Okay.
Are you having lunch with us today? Okay. So I can move you over here, then the server will get you started in a few minutes.
Okay. Are all of these taken?
Yeah, the bigger tables have to be open because we have a lot of reservations today.
Okay,
So I can
what
put you
time-
in a smaller they're all different times, so we're about to set up this section for a party that's coming in.
Oh, okay.
So
What time do you think they'll come in? Just because it'll probably be pretty loud, I would imagine, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I just don't want to set up at a table if it's going to get loud in like 30 minutes. Maybe
It'll be loud everywhere in the cafe.
Okay.
Yeah. But so would you like to still sit and eat? Because I can move you over here.
Just so I know, like, when do you think like this will be poppin', I guess? Because it's like empty now,
Hit
so.
our lunch rush right now. And
Okay.
We have a lot of reservation. It's the holiday. People are on break, so we expect to be busy all day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can move you over here. It's probably gonna be the quietest right now. But
Okay. I think I'll probably just leave.
okay.
It's completely empty in here, by the way. Like, completely empty. Someone sat me here and I was like, can I take the bigger table? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure she just kicked me out because she didn't like me or something. Lots of reservations, they say. Lots of reservations. When are the reservations? Oh, I don't know when the reservations are, but you can't be here, basically. Do you want to move to like a small table that is bad lighting? And even though we already told you could sit at this table?
Yeah, this is San Francisco, dude. They're probably the most inclusive city in the United States. They probably saw you come in and like, oh yeah, right over here. Here's what probably happened, all right? The hostess probably sat you at a larger table like it was okay. And then a manager came in and said, we're going to have to move her because we got reservations coming in for large tables, within the next half hour to an hour or whatever. And it was all about Lillytino because, I don't want to sit anywhere with bad lighting. Oh, is it going to get pretty loud? Oh, is it, because I got to be able to film my TikTok, and be able to put this out. And, it's totally empty here, right now, but it doesn't freaking matter. They told you, this is how so self-absorbed she is. They told you they have bigger parties coming in. They're coming in at different times. It's going to get loud. That's just what happens in restaurants, okay? People make reservations. Now, I don't know what day it was. It doesn't say what day it was. It just says it was about 1 o'clock. Okay. Which is still toward the kind of the back end of a regular lunch shift if it's during the week. But if it's during the day, if it's on a Saturday, coming in, it can get busy from any time from like 11 or 12 throughout the day, especially at the Hard Rock Cafe. Let's look at some of the comments that were basically brought up for Lillytino. She didn't kick you out. Yeah, because that was one of the things. Oh, they're kicking me out. No, be a gentleman and just move. I think I'll leave. She kicked me out. Bruh. Just move. It's simple. And here's the other one. Oh my God, quit being a victim. They asked you to move to a smaller table because they're expecting some big bookings coming in. That's not kicking you out. Get over yourself. All right, so let's just, oh my God. I mean, it is all about her. Let's look at the next one. Always gaslighting people and saying it's transphobic. No, it's Lillytino-phobic. We all saw you pick up the plate and drank the leftovers. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I'm going to bring this up now. Because I think she does this on purpose. I think she's someplace, and she picks certain places to go eat at, or sit down at, or whatever. And she's waiting for somebody to misgender her so that she can clutch her pearls and be all offended. She thinks that what would be normal behavior for us is transphobic to her. Everything is transphobic to her. Someone with a slip of the tongue just says the wrong gender, and you go, oh my God, I can't eat here anymore. And I've heard people use the excuses of, I have long hair, and I wear makeup, and I'm in a dress. Yeah, I know guys that are like that. They're called rock stars. They're called musicians. They're called actors. They have long hair. My son has long curly hair. He's a musician. One of my good friends is a musician. He's got long hair. My nephew has got long straight hair. He's a gamer. Let me tell you something. Just because you have long hair and you put on makeup and maybe you wear a dress does not constitute you being trans. It doesn't. Those are not the only things that constitute you for being trans. She does this on purpose. She is a fake and a phony. She does this specifically so that she can create content for her channel. People accidentally misgender her, and she becomes so offended that she has to put it out all over. And let me tell you something. If you constantly go to Disney and you get misgendered, stop going. If it's so offensive to you, stop going. It's that simple. But you're not, well, your 15 minutes of fame are coming to a close. If you look at some of the other stuff she's done on her channel where she's pretended to be Miss Rachel, which is like a kindergarten celebrity, preschool celebrity. She's gone on her and pretending to be Velma from Scooby-Doo. She's gone on her channel to be put on a Hooters outfit. Like, I don't know which is hotter, me or the wings. The wings. That's a very simple answer. The wings. You're running out of ideas, and this is all you've got. I'm going to go someplace, and I'm going to get misgendered, and I'm going to have content for my channel, and it'll be so great. I'll just play it off like I'm just so hurt. Go away. Go away. It's that simple. I'm going to continue with it. I got a couple other things I got to show you. Because she started talking about Blair White, which I thought was comical. So let's get into the next Video here.
In the movies, we see people betray their own kind all the time, but sadly, it's also happening in the trans community. Take Blair White, for example. She is a trans woman, albeit a conservative one. But instead of advocating for change or pushing people to be more accepting with her very large platform, Blair throws trans people under the bus in order to be seen as one of the good ones by conservatives. For example, Blair is on the record saying that trans kids don't exist.
There is no such thing as a transgender child, and I say that as a transgender adult.
Which is simply not true. And if you're thinking that that's a weird take for a trans person to have, I agree with you. Her being trans gives the take some weird legitimacy so that conservatives can point to it and say, hey, look at this, even a trans person thinks that trans people are crazy. Now, it's worth pointing out the irony that the conservatives who use Blair as ammunition against the trans community will never accept Blair as a woman. Deep down, Blair understands this, but she just doesn't care because conservatives will give her a free pass from harassment and discrimination in return for selling out her own people. And it's a shame because she's scared just like the rest of us. And Blair, if you're watching this, know that you don't have to grovel to the powers that be. We can create a safer future if we just work together. Now hush, my movie's starting.
All right, let's get into the comments about this real quick, and I'll give you my opinion. I would love to see Blair White roast you because you don't make sense. Stay away from our children. That's a common theme. What is this dude's obsession with talking about children? She's not doing it for approval. She's saying her beliefs just as much as you say yours. Children's minds aren't fully developed to even make serious decisions. That's why the parents do it for them and take care of them. You're just mad she's pretty. I agree with that one. She can't have a different opinion. She's throwing you under the bus by disagreeing with you. Have you considered that maybe she doesn't push people to be more accepting because she accepts herself? Blair has common sense. You're doing more harm to the trans community than her, mister. That's pretty. And sir, you are not a real trans person. Blair White, Buck Angel, etc. are real trans people, and you are one of the reasons why trans people are getting the hate. This is exactly true. More and more trans people are coming out against Lillytino because of all the stuff that she has done to, as they've been saying, to harm the community because of all the different topics that she talks about. Now, I'm not going to specifically get into whether or not there are trans kids. All right, I will say that from what I've observed and from the people I have talked to, I've talked to trans teens, and these are young people in high school who are they believe they're transgender, and this is not a decision that they've made lightly. They have very much struggled with their identity, and they believe that they're trans. More power to them. As far as kids are concerned, I have seen it too many times where, in fact, I know someone very, very close to me where, she thought she was a he, so she was a he until he decided he wanted to go back to being a she, and she is very happy. I think a lot of kids want to try it. Maybe even teens. They want to try it. They're very much into trying to figure out what their sexuality is and their sexual identity. And sometimes, and I've heard stories of, gay, men who for some reason were gaslit into believing they were trans women until they realized, no, I'm not a trans woman. I'm a gay man, and vice versa. I heard a story of a lesbian who looked, I don't want to say rather butch. She had short hair, and she liked working on cars, and they said, you must be a man. You must be a trans man. And so they were like, really? Yeah. Look at all the different stuff. Here's the thing. Here's what I believe, and let's just take this, because I believe that men could have feminine traits and women can have masculine traits, and they're still male and female. They're still masculine, they're still feminine. Just because they have traits of the other person does not make them trans in any way. It just means that I remember back in my day, and I'm going back in my day when they called cooking women's work. If you were to go to and say that in front of Gordon Ramsay now, I'm sure he'd slap you. Because, cooking is not just women's work. There are a lot of men who are very good cooks. There are a lot of men who are really good florists. There are women who are very good at construction. It all depends. You can have traits of the opposite sex or gender and still be your own gender. But as far as kids are concerned, I think kids want to be a part of something. They want to be able to please their parents. They're willing to bend and mold themselves in a way that will please people. And I have seen this happen. And for some reason, there are people who wear it as a badge of honor to say that I have a trans child. Now, they're not my child. So I'm not going to interfere with how someone raises their kid. But I have seen it to where kids will do what they need to do to please the person they're with. And sometimes they're just as curious about, boys are just as curious about wearing dresses as girls are about wearing pants. It's not, it's not, let me just finish it with this story, right, really, really quick. I had a friend of mine who was a new parent. He just had a second kid, and his 3-year-old was starting to play with dolls, and it concerned him. And I'm like, why are you worried about your son playing with dolls? Well, it's not natural. It's not right. Boys don't play with dolls. Boys play with trucks, and I'm like, well, who's he with during the day? And he goes, well, he's either with me or my wife. We don't have childcare, and we have opposite working schedules, and so he's always around me or my wife. And I said, oh, so he's emulating you and your wife. He wants to be a good parent. And my friend had never thought of it like that before. It's, he and his little boy has grown up to be a very handsome young man and doesn't play with dolls. But he, at that point in time, he emulated his parents, and he, even to the point where he even breastfed this doll, which I was like, I found that interesting because his wife would breastfeed the baby. But not to go, but again, kids will emulate what they see. They will do what they need to do to please people around them. But I'm not going to be a person here that's going to say that there's no such thing as trans children. Because truthfully, I don't know. And I'm happy to say that I don't know about the subject. I'll be more than happy to sit down with people and talk about it. But the fact that Blair White believes that there aren't any such thing as trans children and Lillytino believes there is, I don't understand what the world this is all about, other than it's another example of Lillytino turning on her own kind. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the end of this because we're almost on the clock, up on the clock. And I wanted to get this last one out because this is the one that I think, this is the last video with the comments. This is the one I think that kind of will open the mind of what's really going on with Lillytino.
I know there are people out there who are hell-bent on never, ever being accommodating to trans people. Like, I will never call you by those pronouns. You will never have my respect or whatever it is. And like, is that really worth it to you? Putting all of that effort to be nasty? Because if we meet and you call me by the wrong pronouns, it's gonna be a confrontation. And I don't think you want that. I think you just want to go about your day. I want to go about my day. I don't want to have to be upset about getting misgendered. And I know you don't want to purposefully upset people. And if you do want to purposefully upset people, then you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why. Why am I like this? Why do I want to make people's lives harder? Why don't I want to lift up my fellow human? Like, who raised y'all? Who made you so hateful and upset? God forbid you have children and raise them to want to make people miserable, especially if it's something as simple as not using a couple of words. And to be clear, we're not saying that you can never use the word sir or ma'am. We're just asking that you don't use those words
words until you know which one we prefer. That's it. And if someone asks me to call them a certain set of pronouns, I'm just going to call them that, even if it seemed a little weird to me, which, to be clear, it doesn't. But even if it did, whatever, just do it. Who cares? Be nice. The world is hard enough already. Be nice.
All right, let's wrap this up with the comments here. I'm down for a confrontation. Professional victim. Sir, I need you to calm down and lower your tone. You are disrespecting women. I will not be forced into living your delusions and lies. Yeah, this is basically it. It's like, you know, she wants a confrontation now. Which is something that there's a video out there I just saw over the weekend where apparently, you know, some guys called her sir, and she was like, on her phone, on her camera, like, no, come back here, say that to me again, come on, back here, I want you to do that in front of the camera, look at that, and they do. She got the confrontation she wanted, and then she turned around, went to the business owner, and said, how come you guys didn't come out and protect me and stand up for me? Not their job. It's not their job. Dude, you wanted a confrontation, you got it. You're going to continue getting confrontations because that's what you want. You are a fraud and a fake. Get off the internet and leave it to the people who should be here. Because a lot of people are just done with you. You do this on purpose so that you can make other people look bad. Because you're feigning your... I can't even go on. Just get off the internet. Just stop and get off the internet. Nobody wants you there anymore. Your 15 minutes of fame are up. You got what you wanted. You got what you asked for. If all you want now is confrontation, you're going to get it from now on. All right, I'm going to calm down now because it's time for me to go. If you haven't already, go down, hit the subscribe button, bang the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Give me a big thumbs up. It helps with the video and the algorithm for the channel. If you want to share this out to your friends, family, and neighbors, please do so. I would love to. And leave me a comment so that I know what you think on this topic. I've got to run. I am Goose with On With The Show. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the other side.